Hey everyone and welcome back to Cade's Comics. If this is your first time watching the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. If this is not your first time watching the channel, I hope you enjoy this video like all the others. Today I have a review for you guys. This is Lady Killer from Dark Horse Comics, written by Joelle Jones. It's one that I really took a dive on, but it's one that I really enjoyed. Without further ado, let's get into it. For those people that don't want to stick around for the whole video, it's a very good book with a great art style. Dexter meets Mad Men meets 1950s culture. If that's your kind of thing, go check it out. I really enjoyed the art style. It kind of reminds me a lot of 101 Dalmatians. Hopefully you'll understand what I'm getting at. Her husband in this just reminds me a lot of the dad in that, so it's really interesting then to see the violence that goes on in this book with that art style. The juxtaposition that's there really makes it interesting and it makes you want to keep reading. The thick blacks and the uses of red and shading, it kind of makes it seem like a noir piece almost, with it still being in colour. There are certain scenes in the first volume where Josie, our protagonist, is going after targets, and the use of colour in that really demonstrates the violence that she has, and it really helps to show the juxtaposition between the suburban housewife and this assassin, which is beyond the level of anyone else at the agency. She's referred to like the best at the agency multiple times through this book. It's really interesting. So now we're going to get into the story. This is going to be the spoiler-free section. I'm going to talk about spoilers a little bit after. So in Volume 1, it's set in 1962 in Seattle. And Josie is an assassin that's been an assassin for many years. As I mentioned in the art style, she is beyond that of anyone else at the agency. She's considered the best of the best. She enjoys what she does, and she's good at what she does. There are some things in here that she does that like do not make her a good person, and there are things that are like, oh wow, okay. But I'll get into that in the spoilers. Something happens at the end of Volume 1 that I can't talk about without spoilers, and then we go into Volume 2, which is set in 1963. Volume 2 was by far my favourite. Following the events of Volume 1 and dealing with the consequences in Volume 2 was what made Volume 2 so much better. You have returning characters that play much bigger roles. I'm kind of stuck between whether I absolutely loved it or I just thought it was good, because I did enjoy reading it. I read it all in one sitting. As you can probably tell, I don't make notes about my reviews before I record them. I just kind of go in and waffle for a lot of it. Volume 1 is set in Seattle in 1962, and Volume 2 is set in Cocoa Beach in 1963. You have this juxtaposition of city life in Seattle and the kind of killing and stuff that she does there versus a more rural area in Cocoa Beach. I don't really know what else I can say about this without spoiling it. So if you do want to avoid spoilers, please skip to the end where I'll just give my final verdict. As I mentioned, this book follows Josie, who is an assassin. She's been doing it for 15 years, and the book follows some of the missions that she goes on, led by her handler, Peck, who is not the best guy, and he ultimately ends up trying to kill Josie after he's ordered to by his boss, because they don't see a way out for her other than death. She knows too much. She can't ever really go to just being a suburban housewife. So the first volume follows that. It follows the missions that she does, and it follows her trying to escape Peck and also trying to kill him herself. She does end up killing Peck in the end and her boss with the help of another agent called Ruby and an older guy, Reinhardt. Reinhardt plays a big role in issue 2. Josie, who is this incredible killer going after the people that have wronged her and basically trying to escape. It's like female John Wick set in 1950s. The only point of this that I really didn't like Josie was when she goes after a child and tries to kill him, although she does in the end not kill him and lets him escape. But in that moment, I think she kind of realizes as well what she's doing and she wants to leave, and that's how everything spirals into her wanting to get out and not being able to get out without dying. So Volume 1 ends with Peck and her boss dying, and she moves to Cocoa Beach in 1963 and attempts to set up her own assassination business, killers for hire, whatever you want to call it. And we get the return of Reinhardt, who wants to help Josie. He basically wants to be the cleanup guy. And this volume opens with such a good introduction. It's so out there and it's incredible, where she kills 2 old ladies at a Tupperware party, and she's like chopping the bodies up, and then she thinks like, how am I going to get this out? And she ends up putting the chopped up bodies in all of the Tupperware. And when I read that, I was kind of like, oh my god, like I could see this happening in a TV show or a movie. Like it was funny, it was dark, it was interesting. So Josie is offered basically a union working for another assassin company, but she can't work with Reinhard because it turns out he is a Nazi who helped people escape in World War II, but didn't really help them escape. He took their money and killed them. And when they found all these bodies in his flat, Mrs. Schuler, who is Josie's husband's mother, basically describes it as a horror scene. And she too was a Nazi. It's interesting to kind of have that there, but never really explored too much. And so Reinhardt goes after Josie and tries to kill her, and she ends up having to defend herself and ultimately kills him. When she does kill him, it was like the end of Terminator 2, and it was like the end of Die Hard. Like, this guy just won't die. She like burns him, shoots him, blows him up, whatever, and he just keeps coming, and like he's an old guy. I get you've got to have a villain that's far worse than your hero, and also making them unkillable, essentially, makes them scarier and dangerous, but kind of seeing this old guy get set on fire and then driving a car through a house and then being smacked up with a brick and then being shot, how can he carry on going? So in the end, Josie's husband finds out and he leaves her and takes the children. And she's left with this person that she's not really got along with for the entire time, who is her husband's mother, Mrs. Schuler. It was kind of melancholic because Josie is now all alone, and she's got what she wanted to be part of this union of assassins, but she's lost her family in the process. And then, surprise, surprise, rug pull, twist ending, M. Night Shyamalan would be proud. Peck from Volume 1 is not actually dead, and he gets out of the van and he is going to be working with Josie. And then it ends. Like The Sopranos, it just ends mid-conversation. I was really interested with that because this is a library edition. It says Volume 1, but there are no more volumes after this. And it's a book that I want to read more of. Like, I can't just live on that ending. I need to know what happens to Josie next. Does she get her family back? Does she ultimately kill Peck? Or is she just undone by her own wants and desires of killing and being good at killing? A lot of great art, and the story itself I really enjoyed. So this is my final verdict. If you haven't read Lady Killer, I would advise you to go pick it up and read it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. It's a good read, and yeah, it's interesting if you're looking for something a little bit violent, but also, I don't know, darkly funny in a way. Like a dark comedy almost. It's good. I liked it a lot. And if you like the 1950s aesthetic, you'll like it too. So I don't know if I should give this a rating out of 10, or out of 5, or whatever. On Goodreads, I did give it 4 out of 5, so make of that what you will. If you did enjoy this video, I know it was a lot of rambling, but leave a like down in the comments below and subscribe if you want to hear more reviews. I've got another coming up very soon, which is a book I've been looking to read for a long time. It's a book I really liked, and it may or may not be about someone that has to kill other people because a demon is trying to kill him. Look forward to that, and I'll see you guys later. See you later, guys. Bye.